The views expressed on this program belong solely to the individuals featured and do not represent views of Ashiana Housing Limited. The program shares personal journeys of individuals meant to inspire but may not apply to everyone's situation. The program is for informational purposes and should not be considered a substitute for professional medical advice. It is important to note that this program is not intended to defame any individual, entity, caste, community, race, or religion, nor to disparage any institution or person, whether living or deceased. Listeners' discretion is strongly advised. When we think of retirement, we think of seniors in a particular way. And we need to change that way. This show is going to talk all about the idea of age is just a number. I'm going to get guests who have done this in the past, who have really lived a life from very, very lows to very, very highs. Welcome to a new show, Adding Zindagi 2 Years. I'm very excited to welcome my first guest who has broken a lot of societal norms, gone through tough times, and is now known as Silver Fox. Mr. Dinesh Mohan, welcome to the show. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Good to have you here.
Yes.
I'm very excited.
Same here.
Whatever I saw and what I'm seeing now, wow. You look cool.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Good to have you. I'm very excited about this show. We're going to be chatting about your life, and I'm sure your life will actually inspire a lot of people. I've seen some of your videos, and one of the things I learned was in the early 2000s, you went through a lot of troubled times. Let's start with your troubled times a bit.
Yes. I had to undergo certain difficult circumstances in my life. I'm sure everybody has those. But at that time, I couldn't take it in a manner which suited my circumstances more. I went into depression because of those. There were a few personal tragedies, and things went totally off track. And slowly, I started slipping into depression, and it became full blown very soon, and resulted in a lot of other ailments, medical and mental. And this went on for quite a long time. Yeah, right. 2000 was the dark year, so to say, in my life.
And a lot of people go through that. Tell me a little more about it. During this depression, what are the things which happened in your life from a perspective of health, family?
Yeah, see, I shifted my town. I was staying somewhere else and then shifted to Gurgaon at that time. I thought escaping that situation where I was would make me free of, all those things. But when you come out of the storm, actually, that is when you sit down and you start taking note of what all you have lost in your life. Okay. So when I came here to this town, Gurgaon, and settled down here, I realized that I've lost a lot in life. My job had gone, my family had gone, my home had gone, and my finances were all gone. And so this pushed me deeper and deeper into depression because I was very young at that time. And everybody wants to be active and they want an active life at that time. But my circumstances were not conducive to a good life. And that, lot of thinking over, mulling over the past pushed me deeper into that dark hole. It was totally bottomless. It was very dark and very difficult. And slowly I realized, and that was a good thing. That was actually the only good thing that happened, is that I realized that I might be suffering from some mental ailment because my reactions were not as they used to be before 2000, So after that, my reactions became very negative, very self-defeating, very self-destructive. So yeah, it was discovered that I have clinical depression.
And lots of people are. I know people who are in depression, and I guess everybody would know somebody or the other, either themselves or somebody in depression.
Right.
This figuring out that your viewpoint was not the same before and after. How did you realize these things? Because it's a very difficult thing to realize for a lot of people.
It is a very difficult thing to realize, but then I was always this above average intelligent person, and I could realize that something wrong is happening with me because every morning you get up and you will decide, okay, today I'm going to face it. But then within an hour or so, you feel this down feeling and you don't feel like getting up from your bed, or doing anything, or even having your, the daily routine. Everything goes out of this thing. And so it made me wonder what is happening to me. Should I seek some professional help, or what should I do? So I talked to my family members that I'm not feeling normal because I feel like crying. So all these things, yeah, they made me realize that okay, and that was the first step, in fact, that I at least recognized. And the lucky part was that I had people to communicate with.
Oh,
So
wow.
communication was very important at that time.
And were they
So
telling you that you're depressed?
no,
No.
no. This realization came from my side only, because I could compare myself. Some people are, what they are by birth. They have a certain, nature, and they know what
Self-awareness.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I could realize that this is not me. This is not Dinesh Mohan that I knew, from always. And what is the reason? Why cannot I? Everybody goes through struggle. Everybody has difficult circumstances. But why am I not being able to cope up with whatever has happened to me? And why was I giving up? So that, you know, how should I explain this? Everybody has dreams, and dreams are what make you live your life. And I realized that I'm no longer dreaming. I'm not planning my future. I'm not dreaming of a future. So it was a very bad state to be in. You're existing. You're just trying to exist. So that is
Right.
what made me realize, yeah.
And I don't know what was your family members going through, because lots of times, if I see somebody in depression, I want to help out, but I don't know how to. And I don't know what was your family support like, or questions like that on that
Yeah,
side.
they were all, yeah, they were equally naive. I guess they had not seen a depressed person ever before in their lives. So they were also equally, at this crossroads, how to deal with this, what to do. And they were all trying to find out solutions, as I was also trying. But my solutions were, the difference was that they were coming from a healthy mindset. And that is what helped me. And thank God for that. I was coming from this unhealthy thought process. And, initially, I was trying to seek their pity. You get comfortable in a pitiful situation. You don't want to change your situation, because people would come to me and they'll say, oh, kya ho gaya bechare ke saath? And this would give me this thing, okay, this is not of my doing. Kuch ho gaya hai mere saath, and that's okay. But very soon I started realizing, okay, this is, most of it is your own doing too. Right.
And I think it's a very important revelation, because a lot of people don't have it, or pity अच्छा लगने लग जाता है, and you realize that कि pity is not a good thing.
It's not a good thing. And I knew that, okay, your reactions are going off track now, because I had never thought of destroying myself. I was a very self-loving, self-respecting kind of person before that. And after that, I didn't want to live at all. So I used to wonder that what is happening to me? How should I come out of this? And this constant effort was, at one side of my brain, was constantly revolting against my situation. And yeah, so
I'm glad. And I think a lot of times I talk to the idea of being self-aware, this sense of spirituality. It seems you had some of it.
Yeah, before this thing of spirituality, came in, I suffered a lot. There were a lot of medical ailments. I used to overeat a lot, and the weight became 135 kgs.
135
Yes,
kgs.
right.
Wow.
Right. And everybody would warn me, that you're destroying yourself. This weight is going to lead to other medical, complications. You have mental issues already. You have issues in your life, in your circumstances, and now you're creating another, devil for yourself. So, and it did result in that I had a very severe bout of vertigo, benign positional vertigo. I used to have panic attacks, and I'd given up driving. I've given up going outside, and I was constantly confined to my room. And then one fine morning, I tried to get up from my bed, but could not do that. I would fall back into my bed. And it was discovered that, unfortunately, I had a loss of motor functions. When your mind says something else and your body doesn't obey the orders. So there's a very grave, serious medical issue. And that was the time that all my realization that, okay, I can come out of it, they went for a toss. They lied scattered in front of me, because I totally gave up all hopes when this thing happened. I thought, now I'll never, never, ever be able to walk. I'll be bedridden. I'll be dependent on my sister and my brother-in-law, and I'll be a burden on myself and on everybody else for my life. This thought actually became cemented in my mind, because when this thing went, I could not do that. I lost all hopes at that point of time.
And how did you get hope back?
See, yeah, there's a very this thing that I guess everyone has their struggles, and everyone comes to a point of realization in their lives when everybody thinks, okay, I've had enough, right? But some people cannot take the action to get out of that. So I decided that enough is enough. Now I have to get out of this situation. See, what I believe in, the door to the next life is very narrow. You have to actually, make your way through it, and you have to rescue yourself, because nobody else is going to come and rescue you. I had a support system. Everybody had their own lives, though.
Yeah.
They had their jobs, they have their family, and they have to go around, be social and all that. So at that point of time, I realized कि अगर तू नहीं करेगा ना, तो फिर कुछ हो ही नहीं पाएगा बिल्कुल भी. So come what may, do or die, you have to, get up and do something about your circumstances. So that realization actually worked very well in my favor. I thought, let's revolt now. Enough is enough.
And how much time? Because a lot of times we कभी अच्छा सोच आता है फिर मर जाता है. How much time
That's
does
normal, right?
That's normal.
That's
right?
human nature.
That's human nature.
Yeah.
You get bad thoughts, you get good thoughts, and
Yeah.
they both die.
Yes.
But to overcome such a huge challenge where you can't get out of your bed, 135 kgs, multiple diseases, the mental strength has to be very different. I want to
Yes.
understand what's the kind of time it took you to kind of.
It took me a long time, yeah. When I found the cure for this, luckily, for my loss of motor function and the vertigo, it took me around 3-4 years after that to come into my own. It helped me a lot, plus my own willpower, 101%, because nobody is going to help you, not even God is going to help you, if you don't have that thing inside you that I have to fight back. I knew I was over. My story was over at that time. But I also knew that if you want to do something in life, if you don't want to be a wasted person, label that for all your life, you have to get up and get moving.
So you were talking about this hope you got of walking. And what was this hope? How did you get it? Because a lot of times hope is a very critical skill of critical information to get out of depression, right?
Yes. When I decided that I have to take things in my own hands now, and I gave up on, now this could be, again, controversial, because I gave up on all the medicines.
Oh.
I stopped. The first thing I decided was throw away all the medical
And this
records.
included depression medicines also?
Everything.
Oh, wow.
Everything. I thought I'll go off medicines now. Let's see what happens to me.
Okay.
Because I don't know whether I should be saying it or not, but at that point of time, I also started realizing that maybe I'm caught in that, web of medicines you have to take, or you'll die, you have to take, or you'll be not well, and things like that, that constant fear in my mind. So I wanted to overcome that fear. So pehla kaam maine ye kiya that I literally threw away in the dustbin all my medicines and my medical records. And I thought, okay, chalo koi baat nahi yaar, agar mar bhi gaya तो बाद में ये ना हो कि यार इतनी सारी दवाइयों पे था और इतना बड़ा इसका रिकॉर्ड था, अच्छा हुआ मर गया. So I thought, let me die a clean person. But
sometimes you have to give those kinds of thoughts, right?
On a serious note, though, I realized that everybody was telling me that it's because of your weight that most of the problems are there. So the first step I decided to take was to do away with the weight. And I could know that those were my faulty eating habits, because I'm a hardcore Punjabi at heart. And, people, खुशी होती है खाते हैं, गम होता है खाते हैं, Punjabi खाते हैं. So I thought I have to come out of that mold and, go on a holistic diet. But of course, I did it with professional help, because you don't yourself, you cannot realize, because I was already around 55 years of age at that time. So I didn't want to challenge my body at all. So I went in for professional help, and a very holistic diet was written for me. Only change I did in that diet was that I went on it in a very religious and aggressive manner. You
Okay.
know, I added and deleted a lot of things on my own with due regards to the dietitian. And so when I started losing weight,
How much time did it take?
it took me around 9 months. You know, that is how a child takes birth. So
Okay.
it's literally, you know, it was 9 months that I lost around 45 kgs.
Oh, wow.
But when it started happening, you know, when the first few kilos went, and then it gave me, you know, a different kind of high. You know, I used to feel so much thrilled that, okay, this is the first thing that you are successful at after many, many years. So this, you know, thrill, it showed on my face. So everybody who used to meet me at that time, I was still not mobile, though. I was
Okay.
still in my home and trying to walk again.
And you were losing that much kgs just by diet?
Just by diet. Just
Fantastic.
by diet. So diet is, I guess, people say it's around 70 or maybe 50%. I guess it's 99% of your
Of your
fitness program. I came across a physiotherapist. Somebody suggested that, okay, there's a proper way of doing this. They'll make you learn how to walk like a baby again, you know, because people go through accidents and they,
yeah.
you know, it's very tough for. So I joined that physiotherapy, and that physiotherapist gave me tasks every day, that go to the market on foot, don't sit in your car. Or say if you are going on a longer distance in a car in the city, you have to tell your driver, stop, get down from the car and start walking. So challenge yourself like that. So for the first time I went to the market and to buy a packet of milk, you know, and it was like I had won the Olympics. Because I was all, you know, heaving and huffing whether I'll be able to go on. And my brother-in-law was literally pushing me out of the car. Go, you have, it's just a packet of milk. It's just 10 steps, nothing more than that. So yeah, so all these things were,
But I think one of the very key things which I learned, I've learned in the past, and you've kind of repeated it again, was that small wins make a big difference. Hope
yes,
with small wins create a different level of gain. Now, tell me, so one of the things, I think you were spiritual, even, you saying about spirituality, but I
right.
think you were very self-aware. That idea of hope, that willpower only comes when you're very, very spiritual in your own self. But
Yes.
tell me about after you went through this whole weight loss and physical strength,
This thing about modeling, and it was a
how
shock.
did modeling happen?
Yeah, my physiotherapist, you know, is, and there was a neighbor also. So
And what
two
was your
things.
weight at the time when you started modeling? Like when you were discovered for modeling, let's put it this way.
My weight had already settled down at an ideal weight, maybe a little lesser than what I am now, because
Okay.
I didn't go to the gym at that time, and there
Okay.
was no muscle weight and things like that. And there was a neighbor who was working with a magazine and who said, you're the perfect story for a before and after, you know,
Ah.
kind of." And their magazine was doing that. So my story came out there, and simultaneously my physiotherapist was suggesting, why don't you try modeling, sir? You started looking so good. And his father was working with an ad agency in Delhi.
Okay.
And you know, the same agency called that journalist up by chance. It was a coincidence that who's this guy? And we're planning a shoot in which we need a person who looks like an Italian.
Okay.
Right?
You do.
Yeah. So they were creating a scenario of a modeling agency wherein I was shown as the head of that agency with all those, you know, funky clothes. And that's another interesting story. When I became all right and I became mobile, I became a total mall rat. You know what is a mall rat? I would never come back home. I'll go and watch movies, go and have coffee, go and talk to random strange people, join the gym and go and ogle at people, you know, beautiful bodies, and would imagine that could I also be like them, and would buy all the funky, crazy clothes. So one day I bought a very expensive jeans, maybe I have forgotten, Versace or something. So when I came back home, I realized that my legs were still swollen because I had issue with my legs. So I just ripped them off from this thing. And my sister said, are you mad? This costs a bomb and you just, you know. But then, you know, for my first shoot, they had seen a pic of mine on Facebook or somewhere with those jeans on. They said, that is a perfect dress for this shoot, and we'll give you a t-shirt and bring those jeans and your sneakers. And
Oh.
so that is how they created that scenario. And that first, everything happens. I don't know how it happened in my case. When I walked into that on that set, everybody thought I'm a seasoned model, because I had decided that I have to be successful here. This is something which I love. एक होता है ना, आपको अंदर से आता है कि ओके इतने साल लग गए, but I've arrived, now I'm home. So that feeling of homecoming was there. So there was no awkwardness. I was very comfortable in front of the camera right from day one. Even in my audition, I did very well. And that first shoot, I clicked a lot of mirror selfies, so to say, of the makeup being done and posted them on social media. And trust me, Ankur, at that point of time in 2016, there was nobody of my age who was posting pictures like that. People would hide makeup, the process of makeup. Models of my age, they say मेकअप लगते हुए कोई फोटो नहीं लगवानी, बिकॉज सब कहेंगे ये आदमी नकली है. आदमी मेकअप लगा रहा है, औरतों वाले काम कर रहे हैं. But I had no such notions in my mind.
Which is fantastic to have.
Yeah. So those pics went viral, and people started contacting me from all over the place, that who are you and what are you doing and what is this happening, and tell us more about your story and things like that. So yeah, I never looked back.
Lovely. I tell you, you're talking about models. I think we launched our first senior living in 2002, 2003, and I was looking for models for our project to showcase in what we will be doing in senior living, and we literally couldn't find many. So we actually called up our friends, called up our existing customers, and said ki yaar model kar lo. So now the market has completely changed, and
and
it's
people
great to
have
see
this awkwardness, strange awkwardness. People who are not models, they're not comfortable, facing the camera. They think, no, ye humse nahi hoga. But everybody can do it. Anybody can do it. You just need that confidence.
Oh yeah, I know, and I'm glad that this awkwardness is going away, because this is another passion which we can follow. I can see your happiness when you're just talking about modeling.
You are talking to a trailblazer right now. I brought this in our country.
I tell you,
senior age modeling.
It's so
the first
fantastic.
one ever.
And I'm like, my mother has also become a model after my father passed away.
Yes.
You've done that. So, these opportunities, what you are creating is opening up, like for my mother and so many more.
And that's such a nice thing. That's such a nice place to be in.
I'm so happy.
It is.
And at Ashiana, one of the things we do, we have an event called Jashan, where we get all the senior living people come together.
I'm aware of that, yeah.
And in that, they do fashion shows. And the way they do it and the way they enjoy it, it's just amazing. It's the value which is getting created.
Everybody has to, have that passion.
Yeah, it's so nice. Yeah. And one of the things I've learned also is that, sometimes if you feel sad, to just dress up and wear your clothes and look good makes you feel good.
Yeah, I feel sad every morning.
Yeah.
That happens. But then I open up my wardrobe, and I'm fortunate that the designers have sent me so much of stuff which is lying unused.
Amazing.
So I just take out things and, film myself, ask my family members. My people are, sick of making videos for me. So my sister's son is now 7 years old. I've made him an expert photographer. He says, Mamu, मुझे आपके साथ नहीं जाना. आप बस कैमरा पकड़ा दोगे, आप बोलोगे वीडियो बना.
I know the feeling. Obsessed. My mom also does that sometimes.
And thanks to social media, Instagram is the culprit.
Yeah, lots of people complain about Instagram using, but it's helping in certain.
Never. I mean, it's look at people everywhere you go. You'll see everybody filming themselves.
Yeah,
and it's such a beautiful thing to see people opening up to social media, and let's not be judgmental at all. Let people have their fun. Let them have their time. If somebody wants to make a fool of themselves, though I'm nobody to define it like that, on social media, let them have their fun. Let them.
It's a place where you express yourself, and expressing is a very, very critical thing.
Yeah, and don't be that judgy, preachy kind at all. I'm not one of those senior age people who say, "Oh, ye satyanas kar diya Instagram ne ya social media ne." And no. It's given new life to so many people. So many people have this hope that, okay, can I also be viral? And I know of this senior age couple who stay somewhere in Kalka, and their granddaughter helps them. When I had gone for Indian Idol, they were also one of the people who were there. and they didn't know what is social media, and she started filming them, and now they're telling me every day that इतने ड्रेसेस आए हमारे पास, इतने शर्ट्स आए, इतने गॉगल्स आए, इतने शूज आए, which is a thrill.
It's a thrill, and
Yeah.
now your accessibility is to the world. It makes a very,
Correct.
very big difference.
Yeah, so influencers, yeah.
But you in the beginning you talked about judgmental people, and I'm sure
Right.
when you started Instagram, you
Oh
would have
God,
gotten
yeah.
lots of judgment. How did you? A lot of people get taken aback from judgment. What made you
Ankur,
overcome these judgments?
No. I haven't been able to overcome that at
You
all.
haven't?
Because new things have added to people being judgmental. There's something which is hugely called as age shaming. Age shaming. So I face age shaming, and I'm so lucky to face that, because not everybody will look like me when they grow up, if they grow up, if they survive.
So you really built a sense of gratitude now.
Yeah, huge trolling, and which makes me feel like a celebrity, that I'm not. That ये मरेगा कब, पैर कब्र में है, भगवान का नाम क्यों नहीं लेता, फैशन की पड़ी है इसको, पोते पोती क्यों नहीं खिलाता. I tell them, okay, give me pota potis, I'll खिलाओ them.
Oh wow.
So this thing goes on and on. But having said that, you cannot pay any heed to wasted people, because people have no other activity than to आज चलो आज हम इसको पकड़ के इसका वो करते हैं. But it's sad. Age shaming is not only when people talk on your face, ये बुड्ढा ये वो. This is a generic term through which everybody addresses you, which is shocking. That is how I hate this term uncle. It was very respectful when we were kids. Everybody was uncle, auntie. But now it's become something like an abuse, because people are just trying to put you into one box and shut you down there. And so somebody commented on my Instagram, "You are an uncled boy," which was so hugely funny.
You're an uncled boy.
I said, okay, thank God you realized I'm a boy. Maybe I'm an uncled boy. I don't mind that at all.
You are an uncled boy. You look at Oh, phenomenal.
So that is how you overcome. You have to take these things lightly. But of course, I have a huge voice against age shaming. Okay. I wish people were more, conscious of others' respect and others' right to respect.
Yeah. And age shaming basically is not just, it stops people from living a true and complete
life.
They
go into their shell. That is how senior people are slipping into depression, because nobody pays any heed to them. They are pushed into the background everywhere. ये तो बुड्ढा है, छोड़ो इससे क्या पूछना, इन्होंने तो सब देखा हुआ है. And it runs both ways. People, senior age people also have this habit, with due regards, of just talking about the past. Yeah. जब हम थे. Why are you terming yourself in the past tense? What is the? When I was. You are. You Correct. Are here right now. These are the times you are living in. So, be at par with the times. If fashion is a part of life, if style is a part of life, if makeup and hairstyling, or even nakli baal or hair patches and extension, and I'm not talking about surgeries at all, with due regards. Why not do it? What you enjoy is what's important. Go with the times. Yeah, you should, at the end, you should feel good, and don't give up just because you are being age shamed and nobody is paying you any attention. You pay yourself the attention, na. You सारी उम्र हम लोगों ने जो है ना, we had this rescue mission for everybody. अभी बच्चों को ये बनाना है, अभी बीवी को ये बनाना है, अभी माँ बाप के लिए करना है. When will I have time to rescue myself? Correct. ये मैं ऑपरेशन रेस्क्यू जो है दुनिया में, वो कब खत्म करूंगा और अपने पे कब स्टार्ट करूंगा? So I have to rescue myself. That's about it.
And I think it's very critical. And one of the things, again, in senior living, एक बड़ा अच्छा होता है कि सब एक जैसे एज के होते हैं ना, तो एज शेमिंग नहीं होती. तो वहाँ पे बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग है. I met a senior. She said कि यार I'm going to learn cycling next year and be part of Justin. I met somebody who said कि I'm dancing completely and there is nobody like, if there's an event happening, I'm going to dance. That's the way I want to live my life. And I think that's a very critical part of our brain, which needs to kind of get.
Yeah, we should make ourselves more and more relevant to the times. That is how you can shift the perception, I guess, and data and statistics say that the number of senior age people, because of our health facilities and all that, is growing everywhere, even in India. So the Greys are going to rule this world.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So everybody should better fall in line.
And we
And
as
start
people should all
respecting.
respecting. We should
Yeah.
figure out how to live a better and more complete life, and that's what you're doing,
Yeah.
and that's what you're talking
Yeah, but
about.
I hate preaching. I don't like telling younger people. I would rather learn from the younger people, because they have so much to teach us. So much, all my friends are in the younger age category because I make it a point that I cannot interact and talk about property, kids, rishtedar, things like that with due regards. I have to be with people jinse mera energy level match kare, because I lost all those 14, 15 years. So I'm still a teenager in my life, because it's like a rebirth. So I'm just, 10 years old right now. So I would rather befriend older people than me. So 25, 26, 20, 30. I'm fine with those people.
And I hope at heart we all stay a teenager for life, right? That's
Forever,
what,
yeah.
Forever.
Why
That's
not?
what we should always.
Why not?
We should always live that, and always have a want which is higher. And if you
See,
want to play tennis, try it. It doesn't
yeah,
matter.
And people who say that, okay, this is not your age to do this, and you should sit and chant and all that, I would rather, I have a different opinion on this, that if I cannot appreciate the life that God has given me, karma. कर्मा, मैं काम कर रहा हूँ, मैं शूट्स पे जा रहा हूँ, चाहे मुझे कोई भी तकलीफ हो, कितनी मैं दिक्कत में हो, I had to go to London and it's a long flight and the same evening I had a fashion week to do. I didn't mind that. मैं jet lag हो के भी, because मुझे लगता है karma is what God wants me to do. So मैं बैठ के meditation भी करता हूँ, but I'm not wasting any time in doing that, I would rather go out and earn some money and do something good for the society and set an example. So that is more of, worshipping my God. And I'm glad you're talking about it. It's been such a pleasure talking to you. It's just, it's fantastic. And this whole idea of age shaming and the way you've kind of come through and the way you're talking about it, it's great. And I hope more and more seniors live a life of passion, live a life of purpose, figure out what they enjoy doing. Be true to their core. Be true whatever they want to do without fear of judgments. If they want to sleep the entire day off, let them have their fun. It's their life. We should respect that. We should not have unfair expectations from them. Anybody. Yeah. I agree with you. Thank you so much. You're most welcome. I can't thank Mr. Dinesh Mohan enough. It was such an interesting conversation. I had so much to learn. What a life he has lived, from such tough times to figuring out his passion. I took out 3 things from this conversation. First, that hope is a critical part of getting through depression. If you have hope and the right environment with the right people, you can get out of depression. Second, when he was talking about his passion, you could see his whole face light up. That is what passion can do for you. So I hope everyone is able to find passion. And the third and most important, this age shaming. This is really stopping people to do what they really want. Don't worry what people say. Keep doing what you love, and then people will understand over time. It was a great session, and I had such an amazing time talking to him. I hope to see you next time. Good luck.